Hello, everyone, and thank you guys so much for joining Nashville Music Equality tonight for an unforgettable conversation with the soul man himself, Mr. Sam Moore. We are absolutely delighted to be able to have him and to be able to learn all about his life and career that has spanned so many decades throughout music. And before we get started, I just wanted to say to everyone, this will be recorded. This will be placed on our YouTube page later on this week. If there is any questions that are being asked by the media, we ask that you courteously please send us nashvillemusicequality@gmail.com an email so that we can make sure that all quotes that you say are correct. And also, if you need to get in touch with either of our hosts or Mr. Sam Moore tonight, that we are able to get you correctly to his management team. We also would ask that if you have any questions, please share them in the comment section in the chat box tonight. We have a lot of questions to ask him and to learn about Mr. Sam Moore. And so we're going to try to get to as many as we possibly can, but please know there may be a chance that we may not be able to. But we are just incredibly delighted to have each and every one of you with us tonight. And we are excited to be able to continue to bring great content to you guys. And it is just an absolute honor, again, for us to have this legend with us. So I just want to tell you guys a little bit about him before I introduce our host, just in case you're just living on a rock somewhere. Mr. Sam Moore is best known for his work with the historic soul duo Sam and Dave. The group has sold more than 10 million records worldwide with hits like Hold On, I'm Coming, I Thank You, When Something Is Wrong with My Baby, Soul Sister, Brown Sugar, Wrap It Up, and of course, Soul Man. The music and sound of Sam and Dave became so popular that the duo served as the inspiration for the blues parody by Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. He is known as the blast furnace of soul and has maintained his appeal and his stardom as a solo artist and continues to tour and score critical acclaim for all of his work. Mr. Moore is also a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and in 2019, he was given the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and he is also in the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. Again, we are honored to be able to welcome this icon with us, and without further ado, I will turn it over to our acclaimed host. We have our Nashville Music Equality president and also three-time Grammy Award winner, Mr. Shannon Sanders, and the acclaimed vocalist and phenomenon, Miss Wendy Moten. I pass it off to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Courtney is our executive director at Nashville Music Equality. So we're really grateful for her and all the work that she does for our organization and our community. So thank you, Courtney. Wendy, you want to say anything?
Hey, I'm just so happy to be a part of this. I have been knowing Sam Moore for a long time. Courtney, thank you. Shannon, thank you. Nashville Music Equality. Thank you for giving me this platform to participate and share, help share the story of Sam Moore. He's already talking about new ideas and everything. So I can't wait to get to it.
Well, speaking of getting to it, we might as well get to it. Mr. Moore, how are you, sir?
As well, my friend, and yourself?
Awesome, sir. Awesome.
You're doing okay. The last time you and I were together, we had a wonderful time, didn't we?
Yes, sir. We had a magnificent time at the Ryman Auditorium with the Fish Jubilee Singers. And
that was so.
You tore the house down, sir.
No, I didn't tear it down, but I tried to put a little heat up under it.
Look, I think we had to do a reprise. I think we had to run it back. I think. And look,
you know what, you're gonna be bad after all, aren't you?
look, I think we had to put a reprise on it. I think we're going to walk him off the stage.
I tell you, it's so good to see Wendy. I mean, God, I have to tell you this, if I may, and I have to take my hat off to her. She and a few more of my friends that I have respected over the years, and as opposed to what I hear today, it's a shame that, Wendy and some others that I know, people just don't, it tells me people have dark ears. They have dark ears because when you look at people, I was raised like this. If you're gonna sing, sing. If you're gonna sing, sing. If you're gonna scream, scream. But you can't do both because it's not gonna mix. Wendy, behind the screen, behind the mic, behind the engineering or whatever, she's a personal favorite of mine. You know, I don't care what others feel about it. That's them. I have nothing to say against that. But having been around the corner more than one time, and I think I've heard some of the best. I've had the honor to have heard the best in the business. I have to put my Wendy in there in the mix. She's one of the best.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, she's one of the best.
Coming from you, you know, because you're
one of the best, my darling. You really are.
Thank you for that. Thank you. But I'm here to give you flowers today. Go ahead, Shannon. Sorry.
Listen. Well, I mean, listen. We're speaking of the best. You know, it was phenomenal to work with you a couple years ago with the Jubilee Singers, and just for your voice to be still as stellar as it is after all this time. You know, it was that's the one thing that I took away, and I can't tell you how many times I've told people that since that night. But let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
This voice, this music. When did you discover your voice and the music, and figure out that that's what you wanted to do with your life? But how did you come across this voice? When did you realize you had all this voice?
I never did, Shannon. I never did, and I never have.
Wow.
I put everything on the back of Jesus. He, regardless of what I've done or what I've sung or what has been put in front of me, I always call on him to guide me. Because without him, I can't do this. There are people that's their specialty, their passion. My passion is one thing, and that's gospel. But you know what? I have always tried to put those two, at the end of the day, I put those two together. And it means the spirit within inside, the trust and the belief that I have put in the God to do this. And you may hear me say this now, but I've always carried that. By the wayside, I have weaned it. But you know what? I have been able to get back on track and do what he's allowed me to do. You know, if I lost it, it's not because of God, it's because of me. Whatever I did, it was because of Sam, not because of him. And when it looked like it was going away, I had to have a lady that's sitting next to me and said, well, you know what, come and stay in my house. And I know where your problem is, but I'm going to trust you to come here, stay in my home with me, my daughter and I, and get it together. And you know what, for 40 some odd years now.
And we are still stuck with each other.
And to tell you the truth, it was a struggle, Shannon. It was a struggle. It was hard. And this is what it has come up to. But as far as finding the voice, I still today am looking for the best. And that's dangerous because I've been told, if you ever find it, then you might as well give it up. It's gonna be dynamite. You know?
Wow.
So I love to sing what I sing. I love what is presented to me to do. But other than that, I make no secret about where that gift comes from. I make no secret about that. It's all Louis.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Wendy?
Oh, well, you know, I had a question about through all the blood, sweat, and tears.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that one consistent thing that I see in you and have seen my whole life was that light and smile from your heart. And I was going to ask you, what is that light? But you just said what it was.
The light is God. The light is God.
That's been consistent. That's been consistent with you through it all.
Yes, ma'am. It's just like, let me go back to somebody. Let's go back to Aretha. Aretha, when you hear Aretha, and I guess what is bothering me so much today, Wendy, is that, okay, the documentary they have done both sides of the globe, that's fine. That's your life, you know. But if you're gonna do a life story on a person like Aretha or Mahalia, get your facts. See, knowing Aretha, I've known Aretha longer than I've known you. I knew her when she was 14 or 15 years old. Like I knew Billy Preston and whatnot. So the thing about it, when Aretha sang, and I'd say sang, Aretha was more dangerous when she sat down and played for herself. Yeah. But when she stood up at the microphone, okay, she was just another singer, you know. But when Aretha Franklin would sit down, her and Aretha Louise Franklin sat at the piano, you heard the struggle, you heard the hurt, you had the love, you had everything that had gone on in her life. Hmm. Same thing with Sam Moore. I didn't play the piano, but the struggles, Wendy, the hurt, the lies, the betrayals, and the non-promises, and the things of sitting up, having to leave hotels at night without paying the bill because you didn't have the money, or the record company that promised to take care of you and took care of somebody else instead of you. Respect, they didn't respect, they said they respected your voice, but you didn't respect my talent. Then what is it? What is it? And that's the same thing with Aretha, Mahalia, and everybody else. And that's the story, Wendy.
And so Mr. Moore, right there, and that's the perfect pivot to where we want to go. And you just said so much right there. I mean, you've seen so much, you know, for you to be where you are now, and for you to have overcome as much as you have, you know, and you answered my next question, which was about the source of all of this soul, of all of this feeling, all of this emotion, and not only from you, but people like Aretha from that era, where that came from. But you just said it. But let's, you know, if you don't mind, talk to us a little bit more about that. What was it to be, especially a Black man from the South and in the South, and coming through that, you know, and having to sing through those times with so much turmoil in the United States? How did, you know, all of that emotion speak to all of the emotion that was in the music that you guys were making at the time?
Oh my God, Shannon, I got to tell you, there were times during the time that Dave and I were performing together before we became famous. You would be surprised at how disrespected we were. How sometimes we opened for Monkeys. The Monkeys was very important. False Elvis Presley's, and you know, you're a new kid, you're a kid on the block, not even a new kid, you're a kid on the block, trying to do the best you can. You're not trying to promote, be better. You're just trying to fit in. And they say, well, you know, I don't like the style you have. I like your singing. I wanted to sing some gospel at one time. And I went to the record company and I said, I don't want to leave the act. I just want to sing some gospel and keep on doing what we're doing. And you know what they told me? No, nobody wants to hear you. Nobody wants to hear that. Those kind of things. And you know what the most important thing I have to tell you, and I'm going to say this. You got me to preach to say this. It was the Black people that did this to us. It was all about money with the white people, but the black people is the one that said, well, you know what? We got you, Sam. We got the talent. You got the talent. And the record and the disc jockeys would call you in the middle of the night and say, look, you got a new record, Sam and Dave. But you know what? I bought a new car. Oh, I just put a down payment on my house. Can you, maybe, can you take care of this month's rent, bill and stuff? Those kind of things happen in life. Or they go and have you to play for somebody and not pay you. They say, well, that was good, Sam, but they got, the club paid them, but we didn't get it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's so funny because for you to come through that era of music business, it's kind of like football. The football players from generations past would say, man, look, the game is so soft now, it's the same thing. Artists have it so good now, even when they think they don't, they really got it so much better than you guys had it.
Oh my God, yes. Oh God.
Yeah.
Wendy has been around some of the best well, I don't say the best, but some of the top entertainers in the world. And she'll tell you, they're not good. They're not that good. They're good, but they're not that good. But it's the person, they forget to look at the person in the back that's making you sound good.
Well, that's true. I've been blessed though, Sam Moore. I've been blessed that I've worked with amazing icons.
Yes.
That understood who I was, and they never treated me like a sidekick. They always treated me with the greatest respect.
Yes.
And I know, hey, everywhere I go, I'm with you right now. Everywhere I go is I'm learning. So my road is where I need to be. So I'm learning from the greatest. And they always treated me with the greatest respect, like you do. And so I've been blessed with that. I've never felt like, hey, I wasn't good enough, or I'm just a background singer. They've always known, and I felt like that was just a stopping for me, just a more keep moving. But for you, I wanted to ask you, and I want to go back because I know you have some civil rights questions to ask him about, some stuff that you want to ask him about. But I want to know, how does it make you feel to know that your music that you did and are doing is still relevant and is still right there with number one, no matter what the genres do, no matter what the music, we still come back to Sam and Dave. We still come back to your music. It's still relevant. How does that make you feel that your music is still number one?
You know how I look at it, Wendy? It is what it is. That's how I look at it. It is what it is, because you struggle so hard to get it where it got to be. But did y'all understand? Did y'all get it? Did you understand that God do more for me than what you're doing? Come on, So as you arrive out of the 68 years that I've been in this business, 68, you can say, okay, all right. It is what it is. I don't get excited no more. When somebody says so and so, I say, well, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed. I'm glad it's still playing for you to enjoy. But it is what it is. Thank you. And that's all I can say.
That's it. That's all you need to say. That's it.
Yeah. That's all I can say, Wendy. Thank you. Yeah.
And so to that point too, Mr. Moore, I mean, you just said so much even in that, and then just in your gratefulness, your thankfulness for the gift, not only for the gift, but for the opportunity. So for you to be able to take the gift and the opportunity,
yes,
and the timing though, timing of your life and career. So, for you to come along at the same time as that a civil rights movement was happening, and to be able to contribute, to Wendy's point, contribute and make music that has stood the test of time, that contributed so greatly to something as important as the civil rights movement in America.
Yeah.
For you to stand shoulder to shoulder with Dr. King, what was that? Like, I really, you know, and for us, like, it's amazing for us to be able to have a conversation right now with you, you know, and I mean, this is incredible. And then to think that, you know, you know some of and have known some of the greatest people in our history.
Mhm.
What was it like to be making music and to be a part of, and to have your music be such an integral part of the movement, and to be there with Dr. King? And if you would, I really love to know, because I mean, you're the first person I've ever known that's known him. And so I really love to hear firsthand what it was like to be like, and I'm fascinated now, I'm sure like everybody else is, to hear about I could listen to you talk about Aretha Franklin all day. but and Wendy Moten. But that being said, like, so what was it like to have, just to condense all of that, to have your music be a part of, and for you to step up and to be a part of the movement, and to be you know, one of Dr. King's favorites, and to be shoulder to shoulder with him during the movement? Talk to us about what that was during that time.
Well, thank you. I'll try to make it as short.
No. Go for it. Talk to us. You ain't got to make it short.
The point is, when Dave and I were first invited, the agency, at that time, if they want to call it an agency, the booking agent came and said, you were invited to sing on the same program as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Well, you see, Shannon, I was just coming off of the listening of the Elijah Muhammad. I was just coming away from that. I turned that down because the first time they tried to induct me into the Muslim field, it was me. It was Sam Moore, not Mr. Cook. It was me. And I listened to him, and I listened to him, and I listened to him. But I didn't like, somewhere along the way, some of the things he was saying, I wasn't very comfortable with. Now, I didn't say disagree, I said I wasn't comfortable with. So I left there, and when I turned that down from the champ Muhammad Ali, which at the time was Cassius Clay, and Sam was around, and everybody was around here in Miami, and I turned down the teachings and everything of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I lost friends. I lost contact. They didn't want to be around to talk to me. Joe Tex, Muhammad Ali, all of them. But I didn't know what to do. I just kept on stepping, you know. So eventually I was called upon, Dave and I were called upon to open for Dr. King. And I said, okay, fine. Having been one of the main ones to go against a lot of the teachings that Martin was talking about, you know. But anyway, I left, and I went and I opened for him. And you know what, Shannon? After listening to him the first time, and then I was invited to his house in Selma. Dave didn't go. And when my record company found out what I had done, because I would have marched, I would have marched. Hopefully, I can't answer for Dave. I don't know why he didn't, but the record company said, no, you can't do that because we'll invested so much in you and Dave. We would appreciate it if you didn't march with him because that's a lot of trouble there. You're going to get hurt, and we can't afford that. Well, whether that was true or not, I obeyed. Okay? So we were invited to Selma, and I remember so well, my dear friend, I'm going to give you a surprise here. We were sitting in his home, and he was talking to us and some of the members, and he said, gentlemen, tonight, we're going to have a guest to be coming over. Some of you that are sitting here may want to leave after I tell you who it is. If you want to, you may do so after I tell you. If you want to stay, you're welcome to stay. Well, I don't have that much say. So I sat. As we sat, Shannon, there was a little black man that walked up to the house and knocked on the door, the screen door of Dr. King. And the little black driver said, "Dr. King, are we ready?" And Dr. King said, "Yes." And when he turned around and went back to the car, you may want to hear this, Wendy, walked back to the car, in walked and knocked on the door with the little driver, in walked George
Wallace.
George Wallace.
Wow.
Oh, Wallace.
Wow.
Wow.
It was George Wallace. Now, when I tell people, let me explain something to you. He walked in and he sat down and he said he loved himself Coca-Colas. So Dr. King had a case of Coca-Cola sitting there. I had seen them, but I didn't know. I just thought it was for Dr. King and his children or his wife, whatever, I don't know. I didn't pay any attention. So he said, "Reb, knock me one off. Knock me a Coke off there." And Dr. King, that's the nicest stuff. And I'm looking at, well, then guess what? Didn't nobody leave. We sat there. Now, this is what was said in verbatim. Dr. King, I am going to think about very closely about running for the president of the United States. It's going to be, if I do run, listen carefully now, if I run, I'm going to win. And we looked at each other like, yeah, you're okay. Don't say nothing. Dr. King said, "Well, behind you." He said, "Mon, whatever, if I get in, everything will be changed, that we're going to all get together."
Okay.
We are all going to get together. It's no more of this and more. But see what he was running on, Shannon. He was running on a segregated ticket, meaning the founding fathers there was saying, if you run, you have to run on this ticket. So he had to, if you want to do this, he had to do in front of the school. He had to say the things they wanted him to say.
Wow.
He had to do this. Now, that means that he wasn't a racist? I don't know. That didn't come about. And I'm not going to make up nothing out of it, But he said those things to Martin. And, I tell you, it was an experience that I'll never shall forget. But at that time, in those days, you didn't discuss that, because your career was in the hands of the record companies that said they were putting up the monies and all that for you, behind you. Whether that was true or not, I don't know. But I know one thing. It got me to where I am at that time without having controversy and having taken a stand against black, white, blue, green, and red, yellow. And that's the way it was, Shannon.
Wow. So did it feel sincere when he said it? When Mr. Wallace said what he said?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
I respect it. I expected it to be, I was looking at Dr. King to say something in that, to, maybe question. But Dr. King leaned over and he said, well, Governor, whatever it is, I'm pretty sure we can talk. We can talk. We can get together and talk.
Wow.
Right or wrong or whatever, we can talk. That's what I got. So it wasn't for me. I don't guess it was for me to take it upon myself to challenge anything. Maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. But I just sit there and say, oh, okay, whatever the Reverend wants to, whichever way he wants to go with the governor, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with the Reverend. And you know what? I have tried, Wendy. I have tried, Shannon. Mm-hmm. Out of all the struggles and all the things that I have done, negatively, positively, I have always lived off the word of the Dr. Martin Luther King. A lot of people don't understand his real name is Michael. I've always tried to live off that word of Dr. King, what he has said. And people recite what he has said, but you don't live it. Mm-hmm. You don't live it. Black people, you don't live it. You're saying, well, Dr. King said so and so, Dr. King, and Dr. King wanted so and so and so. Well, listen, do you understand? Do you understand? Go back and read it. And try to go in. If you don't understand it, then go and ask the ones that were around him. Don't get political, just ask. You know, if you didn't understand it, ask for help and guidance as to what he is saying. Because I surely did, and I do today.
What's one of the main points that somebody who has looked at his words and have recited them, but don't understand that meaning you're talking about? Like, what's one point that they should really consider and take into their lives that they've made just unaware of?
Wendy.
Yes, sir.
They don't understand this. And if they do, they don't want to. I don't know. I'm not into their heads. When you're talking about, when Martin said, the good Lord and whatnot, if we into this thing, we're not here to beat each other up, or beat the white man up, or beat the brown man up, or beat the Jew. He said, the black man, white man, Gentile, and Jew. Mm-hmm. That's what he said, not to go out there and beat him in the head and knock him around and call him names and only this matters. No, mm-hmm. We all get together as one. Inclusion. That's right. Did you hear that word? Inclusion.
Absolutely.
And nobody understands. Nobody's they don't want to. They're so busy trying to be stars. They get on TV to say, hey, come on, fella, this is serious business. And look what we are today. You didn't listen, and look what has to happen today.
Ooh, now look, Mr. Moore, right there, because you said something real important. Because the thing that you did, and so many people that came through and that were around at that same time did, was that you sacrificed a lot of that you're talking about. Of course you were stars. Of course you were stars. But you used that platform of stardom for something greater than yourself. And I personally believe that that's why God has kept you as long as he has. And
I hope so, and I would like to believe that. I would like to believe that, Shannon.
Yes, sir, and kept you relevant as long as he has.
Yes.
Because you use your platform for something greater than yourself. And you use your platform for the movement and to move society forward and the world forward. So, Peter, so what's the difference? And what was it then? Because you guys, to your point, to even be there, you were putting it all on the line. You're supposed to be music stars, so for you guys to get mixed up in all of this, what did that mean? But at the same time, what did it feel like to have your music, be a part of that? And I got that's a whole nother question coming. But so once again, to paraphrase, what was it about then? And there seemed to be a sense of urgency. In the same way, if there's a war, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, they'll stop making cars and make tanks and make vehicles that the military needs if it's wartime. They stop their personal interests, right? They do what's best for the country. You guys stopped in a lot of ways. Of course, you were making records and playing shows, but even your platforms at your concerts, you used for something greater than the moment and greater than self, and spoke to the movement, and you use the music for that. So let's talk about the power of the music and how you use the music and the message in the music. How important was the message in the music to you?
Shannon, what comes to play here? When Soul Man was first introduced to Sam and Dave, I just took it as another song. And we were looking for a hit. That's what I was looking at. And I'm pretty sure, speaking in minus Dave, to say the same thing. We're looking for a hit. But as the years went on, I recall, Shannon and Wendy, I recall this. Every time we did concerts from city to city, country to country, town to town, we could sing all the songs we wanted to. We could tear the house down and all this stuff and the double dynamite and all that stuff. But when it came to Soul Man, it was like we were having church go to meeting. You could leave the stage, but they were here, Soul Man, Soul Man. And we going, wait a minute, Hold On, Come On was a hit. Come on, man, we through. I found out later in life, it was and is a song about the civil rights. David and Isaac wrote that. If you listen to it, good. I didn't recognize it. When I recognized it 20 years ago, that it was a song talking about Isaac wrote, Soul Man, that had never been uttered by anyone else in life. And if you look back in the record book, you'll see, had never been uttered. And when Isaac explained to us about the song, I said, oh, coming to you on a dust road. I thought it was a song by women.
Wow.
I did, Shannon. I thought, hey, man, on a dust road, good loving, I got a truck. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. What's really going on?
What's going on? Make up your mind. And then Isaac said, Sam. I said, yeah. He said, we, having written the song, David and I, Porter, he said we had to cover a little bit of stuff. And he said, but coming to you, you're coming into Memphis, you're coming to do so-and-so at school and blah, blah, blah. Listen. They're not listening, Sam. And I said, he said, guess what? I said, but he said, neither are you.
Oh.
Neither are you. Because you looking at it from the sexual and so and so. No, Sam, it's in there, but we covered it in a way that it wouldn't be, because civil rights at that time, you could have got yourself killed, falling behind the words of Dr. King and all that. So that's what it's all about. Yeah,
Soul Man was a Trojan horse.
Trojan horse, my friend. You said it right. It was a Trojan horse. Can you believe? Yeah.
But it's so powerful because everybody, no matter what race, understands it internally, what it makes them feel. It empowers people.
Absolutely, Wendy. Absolutely. Absolutely. You'd be surprised how many gospel singers sings that song in church. I thank you. Hold On, I'm Coming. Okay, Hold On, I'm Coming was rebooted, but that's another story. But you know what? Soul Man, I sat the other night and I listened to the player, and I'm going, what? Somebody singing, and he's singing a song, The Love of God, and stuff, and he eased his soul. Otis Clay eased his soul, man. And I wanted so badly to wake Joyce, but I know she would have killed She would have killed me because she stays up, she gets up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I said, I better not do this. So I just laid with it.
I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna butt in for a second. The first time ever that the words soul and man, which have now become everybody's a soul man. Well, no, they're not. The first time that there was ever language used in the English language was that song, and the first utterances were Sam and Dave when they recorded it.
Yes, indeed.
And from there, it's become everybody's a soul man. Well, you know, and it's used. It's like overused, like Jello and Kleenex and you know, and that, to where it's lost, in my opinion, knowing what I know and having had conversations with Isaac about what he saw and why he wrote it and what inspired him in the first place, which was the Detroit riots in 1966, early 1967. It's sad because it's lost what it really meant, which was something of pride. Mm-hmm. Isaac had seen, he was watching television, and they were showing guys at the Detroit riots, and there had been stores that were Black-owned stores, and they had written soul on them, hoping that they wouldn't get burned on the on the wood, on the boarded up wood on the various storefronts. Wow. And some guy that got interviewed that lived locally, I don't know whether it was at 7 Mile and Puritan or 6 Mile in Livernois, whatever, in Detroit. He's standing in front of a store that says soul on it, and he's saying to the reporter, "Look, man, hey man, look, man," and every other word out of his mouth was, "Hey man, the brother, this and that," and Isaac's looking, and now he's looking at soul, and this guy is saying man, and all of a sudden it clicked. And that's where it came from.
Wow. So it was just born out of that energy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
absolutely.
Sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. You said
absolutely.
It right. Yes.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. So did anybody hear the song? Besides, did he write it for you? Did they write it for you guys?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
And guess what? I didn't like it at first.
What?
No, man, come on. I didn't like that song. No, I had my mind set on something else. No, I didn't like no soul man. Soul man ain't no soul man. Yeah. No, I didn't like it.
What made you come around on that?
Never did.
What? What?
Listen, I could say, and when I was out there performing, Shannon, I was saying, and man, sweating, jumping all over the place. And I walk off the stage, and Joyce said, "Where you going?" I said, "That's it." And she said, "No, you ain't. Because if you don't sing that, what you got to do, they're going to tear this place up. And you too."
You knew what you had to do.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And I would have to go back. I said, "Wendy," I said, "I'm out of breath." She said, "You better find some breath of breath. You better come back."
Those words were so powerful that everybody in the moment, women, men, children, everybody who sings it,
yeah,
empowered instantaneously.
You know that, Wendy. You know that.
It's such a uniting moment, right, Wendy? Like, it's such a uniting song, and I can imagine that it's such a uniting moment in a concert, right?
You know, it's what's different about it too is, for example, and I'll say this, and then you go listen. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. James Brown never says I'm black and I'm proud. He
doesn't say it.
He never says it.
You say it.
I never knew it.
Wow. And you say I'm black and proud, but you never hear him say it.
He won't.
Wow.
He never said it.
No, you never hear him say
Whereas
it.
with this, absolutely, they avow that they are soul men.
And the whole thing, you guys, is this. And Judge and I had discussions about it. I would try to say, okay, if I got to go back, I'll do a verse, then I'll go into the chorus, then I go into the double beat, you know, that fast gospel thingy? She said, no, that ain't gonna work. You gotta sing all 3 verses.
Yeah,
you gotta do that.
You ain't done sweating yet. You got a little more sweating to do.
You got a little bit more.
It's gotta go.
You're right, Shannon. That's it. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Oh,
you know,
boy.
but I mean, what a blessing of a song, you know, what a blessing of a song to be that impactful.
Yeah.
You know, for this long. And I mean, you know, and I mean, look, real talk, like I can only imagine, you know, I'm as a songwriter, producer myself, I've been to concerts of artists that I've worked with, right? And sat in the audience, and these are songs that we written 20 years ago, you know, that have been hits. And I ain't gonna lie, like, and to sit there and be like, wow, if I die right now, my living shall not be in vain, because this song will outlive me, and I know it.
Yes, it's going to outlive you.
But to create something and to contribute something as massive as you have, like, and the, you know, the things I'm talking about are nowhere near what we're talking about on a scale of something like Soul Man. So when you talk about that, it's just amazing. You know, how does it feel to know that you have this tremendous of a cultural contribution?
Well, if that may be the case, Shannon, I have to tell you, I still, and I tell you, Joyce, and I have some deep discussions behind this, because, you know, it's been so long, and you're tired, and you have worked so hard, and you're still working to see how things is revolving now. That's so tough, Shannon. It's tough. But I don't have to be into that now. So if they're looking at me now as a front man, okay. But my front, you may not like what I'm saying. My thing is, hey man, come on. Stop all this stuff. Let's get together and love one another and do what's right. Put the politics away and try to make this country a better place to raise your children, my children, anybody. Let's stop this. I'm not God, but you know what? I speak for the right, and I try to do some things that are right, and I do a lot of that's wrong. But you know what? Let's stop all this. I don't know. I'm so disappointed these days, Shannon. I am. I'm disappointed and I'm hurt.
Well, listen, and I got to add, Wendy, pardon me, I got to ask this though.
Okay.
As it relates to, because to come from such a musically conscious time, when did the pivot happen? Because the record company seemingly allowed you to make records like this. They allowed for a record like Say It Loud with James Brown. They allowed a record like that to come out. You know, they allowed a Soul Man to come out. Like, at what point what happened? Did the label stop wanting to put these records out? Or did we as a people stop wanting to make these records, or stop listening to records of that kind of substance? Because soul is such a defining thing as it relates to a very concentrated and deliberate version of R&B music.
Shannon, they don't want to hear the songs of today, of yesterday. They don't want to hear that. They don't want you to. They don't want you to entertain them. They don't want you to get out there and sweat and tell the story and praise what you're doing. They want to go wherever they want you to go, and if you don't go that way, then you're not invited. Mm-hmm. And you know what? You can't do anything about it, and you can't get angry, upset, because it's their right to keep you out, not to invite you. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It doesn't mean that what they're saying and what they're doing. Listen, I can go overseas, and Wendy, I think you can confer in this. I can go overseas and get more respect than I get over here.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
And people in Europe feel the same way when they leave and come to the United States and make it. But you know, it's, you know, we just keep evolving and
yes,
moving forward. You know, it's not enough to stop me.
Hello.
You dig what I do. I'm so thankful that somebody like you, an icon, thinks that what I do is great, because I'm totally into everything that you've been able to do and what you've accomplished. You know, I'm just thankful that I had this moment to tell you how much I love you and respect you.
Well,
So
my main thing, Wendy, when I talk about you, and I'm not going to put your leg behind, I'm going to tell you the truth. We were sitting about 2 weeks ago, and Rudy Perez and I was talking, and he said, Sam, he said, out of Betty, because Betty Wright is from here. I'm from here, and Betty was a little girl when she was used to get up on a crate box and sing, when she in the family, the Wright family. So he said, Sam, tell me, out of all the singers in the world, and I'm talking professionally now, but singers that you have been around, who do you respect? And the first person came out of my mouth, believe it or not, was Tabitha Fair and Wendy Moten. Those were the two. What's the two? Ask George, she'll tell you. And he said, really? I said, yeah. I said, I love those two.
He really did. He said one more that is also in Nashville, but it's been
Rebecca?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
It hurts, Wendy. It hurts, Wendy. It hurts. But I understand where she's coming from. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just I understand where she's coming from, but it doesn't make it right. That a talent like that, yeah.
Keep fighting forward, moving forward, and growing like you've done. You could have stopped. You could have stopped 30 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
And so you're not stopping. You're also evolving and have evolved. And then we're having this discussion today, you know,
yes.
about Nashville Music Equality. And, you know, they brought a few questions of your relationship with some of the country artists in your journey.
Yes.
Who have you worked with in country music? And what's your relationship like, you know, with your ties of country music in Nashville?
Yes.
Well, one of the things that wasn't mentioned was Sam does have a star on the Music City Walk of Fame. He also was the inductor with Vince Gill of Ronnie Millsap Country Music Hall of Fame.
That's awesome. That is a hand clap. That is good.
You know what I feel? You know what I feel, Wendy? You and I and Shannon, we are talking. But what we should do is get together and say, listen, invite people in that want to sit down and get it together. And say, hey, you see how I'm doing? Follow my lead. Follow my lead. Don't do no more than I do. Don't do any less than I do. If I get up at 5, I want you to come out 5 minutes later. Get up. Let's get together and do what you and I and Shannon are doing now. Talk about it. Don't stop. Keep on talking, like Wendy said. Keep talking. Keep moving. You know, life is that way. And you know what? It may take a little time in my lifetime or your lifetime in mine, but you know what? Eventually, it's going to get okay.
Well, that's what I like about Shannon Sanders. I've been knowing him for a short period of time. And that's been his message is about bringing it all together, listening to it, growing, but actively moving.
Yes, yes.
The whole team, they're actively moving towards, you know, working, having that conversation and being proactive.
Yeah. You know,
well, you know, and thank you for saying that, Wendy. You know, Mr. Moore, I'll tell you, you know, one of the things that we focus on here at Nashville Music Equality is pushing for the tougher conversations, if you will, substantive conversations. You know, I always say that growth occurs in discomfort. We go to the gym to make ourselves uncomfortable. It's when you lift that heavy, when the weight is a little heavy, you know, and you're putting in that work, that's when you're breaking down the muscle, but that's when it's growing back. It's growing back bigger and stronger than it was. And so that's why we have these conversations, because we break that muscle down. We have to break down that muscle of hatred so that it can be built back up as
Thank you. I love it. Yes, sir.
We got to break it down. And so that's why
we got to do this. We must.
Grateful. Yeah, we're really grateful.
We've got to do this. These young people, it's not their fault. It's not their fault, Wendy. It's not their fault, Shannon. It's what being put in, they're being taught the wrong way. They're talking the wrong way. And they're looking at, you know what, if I do so and so, this is gonna make me up. No. Listen, learn, stop the hatred. I don't hate you because you feel this bad. So listen, guys, I gotta tell you, I am so, the last of us are around. Nancy is gone, Lil Willie John is gone, Sam is gone, Billy is gone. And these are the people that we are left here to carry that torch. Sam Moore is still here. Am I here to carry the torch? Okay. If not, okay. But you know what? Listen to what I'm saying. Learn from each other. I can learn from Wendy right now. I can learn from you, Shannon. I ain't that great that I can't listen to hear something from you and say, oh yeah, really, let's do that. Let's talk about it. You know, stop this hatred and where you go, how much you going to, what you know about me? I know. No, the brother's supposed to make more. The sister, what? Come on, cut that out. Stop it. But you know, that's all I have to put into that.
Y'all so real. So speaking of this country music thing too, do you remember a time when Black people seem to be more engaged in country music?
Yes.
As listeners.
Yes.
As far and where the division happened, and how can we bring that back? There seems to be a thinking in mainstream Nashville that there isn't a listening audience, or it's not possible to develop a Black country music listening audience. But if it's done, it would be tremendous. So in terms of Black people in country music and people's relation to country music, and healing or putting it back together. I'd love to know your thoughts there.
You know what? Do you remember the name Dorothy Love?
No, sir.
From the Gospel Hominettes.
Okay, I heard of that.
Okay.
Wasn't it Dorothy Love Coates?
Her name is Dorothy Love Coates because she married the bass singer from the Harmonizing Four. But anyway, Shannon, most of the country style songs from back in the day was written by her.
Ooh.
And guess what, Shannon? She's never gotten paid. She was from Birmingham, Alabama. Dorothy Love, look her up.
She's a Black woman.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yes.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, Shannon.
I'm going to say this also. When I was working for the Jacksons, Catherine Jackson, Kate, okay, all those kids heard in that house, the Jacksons, growing up was country music, because that was what Kate Jackson, what Catherine Jackson listened to in Gary, Indiana.
So you're right, Shannon, you're right.
All the Blacks, so many of the Black families and that moved and migrated from the South to Detroit, to Chicago, to Cleveland, to all of the northern cities. They all came from the South, which is where that music was. And that's what they grew up listening to. And that's what they grew up hearing. And that's what they grew up embracing, between that and gospel. And then you take somebody like Travis Tritt, who used to go sneak off and go to the Black churches and stand outside and listen to them singing gospel and preaching and stuff. You know, so it was a mutual two-way street that nobody ever talks about.
Look at George Jones. Listen to his gospel stuff.
Conway.
Come on. Thank you. You know, I mean, come on, guys. You know, Wendy, you know, I'm so glad Wendy's here, and I'm glad talking to you, because you're about the only one to understand, but they can too if we talk to them like this.
If I had a nickel for every time Ralph Emery would invite Sam to Nashville Now, back when it wasn't fashionable.
Right.
Sam Moore and Dorothy Moore from that sang Misty Blue. Ralph loved himself some Sam Moore and loved himself some Dorothy Moore. And we were down in Nashville a ton, which is how I think Sam wound up doing rhythm, country, and blues and doing Rainy Night with Conway. But we would come to Nashville often for Sam to do Nashville Now with Ralph.
Wendy,
talk to us about Nashville. Talk to us about your time in Nashville.
Wendy, Shannon, you know where I got my first? You know where I got my first Grammy?
Where? When?
At the church.
At the Ryman.
At the Ryman.
It was the one year that the Grammys.
The only year they ever did it. It's the only year they ever did it in Nashville. We've been trying to get it back ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trying to get it back.
Yeah.
That's what
we ought to work on that. Yeah, I'm willing to work with,
But they got a great team like this organization that are working to make those kind of things happen. I never knew you got your first Grammy here in Nashville, Tennessee. I never knew.
For Soul
Man.
Soul and country, they are just cousins anyway. It's different.
Well, listen to Sam. I mean, think about some of the early Sam and Dave songs. Can't you find another way of doing it, baby? Can't you? It's country so country, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Shannon.
Isaac grew up in Covington, Tennessee. What do you think he was listening to on the radio, for goodness sake?
Yeah, country.
I mean, what was the influence? Yeah.
Listen at Al Green.
That's right.
Early stuff. Gospel and had a little country in it.
Yes.
Lay your head on my pillow.
Yes.
Okay. I ain't got no more to say.
Talk to us about your relationship with Nashville.
Huh?
Talk to us about Nashville. You and Nashville, your relationship with Nashville.
A lot.
The people, the places.
A lot.
We had an apartment. We rented a townhouse we were there so much we kind of had like dual citizenship. Everybody thought we were living in Nashville. And Sam actually performed at Don Sundquist, both inaugurals. We slept, we believe we may have been the first interracial couple to sleep at the governor's mansion.
Yep.
Wow.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
Shannon.
Yes, sir.
There, and they have a all black, museum there for blacks or something like that?
Yeah.
Now, have you, have they reached out to you?
Oh, yes, I'm actually on the advisory board.
Well, can I advise you that they never came to us? They have never asked us for anything. They never asked us about Sam and Dave, Jackie Wilson, Billy Preston, Mary, nothing.
Nothing.
Zero.
Oh, wow.
No.
Well, I tell you what, we'll change that. No, Sid.
We'll
do that offline. Hey,
let's get together.
We'll do that off the Zoom, but we'll take care of that. We'll square that business up.
Let's get together, fella. Let's all get together and try to invite people welcome people that is willing to sit and be together. Okay, that thing that Michael India's done, We Are the World. Look what it done. Right. But are you living with We Are the World? No. You living with, oh God,
We're living with Set Your Clocks.
Whatever we want to do, you guys want to do in musically, hey, call me. I don't get around that much, but Joyce will be there with her nosy self.
I told him to stop calling me Joyce I told him, just call me Lady. Lady, come here.
Shannon, it's been so, what? I got a song that I want you guys to, I don't know whether you remember. Her name is Tamara Brown. Is it Brown? She's on this show with, she does a TV show with Tyler Perry.
Tamala Man.
I love that song. I love that song.
Take Me to the King.
Yes. Yes, Take Me to the King.
Take Me to the King.
I want us all to get to do something like that.
That's right.
I love those kind of things, songs, man. you know, I want to do some stuff like that. You know, but you know, hey, just brought it up. I love all that stuff, man. I do.
But see, that's so great too, you know.
Isn't it?
To see your passion, your love, and your willingness to still keep dreaming and growing.
Yeah, Wendy, that's now, see, that's what I'm talking about. Keep growing. You don't get too old to grow. You know?
That's right.
You don't get too old to grow. And listen to all the music. Listen to everything. Don't just say, well, what do? Well, I'm a rapper. So?
Yes.
So? You may not do it, but you know what? You can always say, well, you know what? I like so and so and so, and I do so and so. I can't rap. I don't want to try, but I can do all that singing stuff you like to do.
Now you know what? So on that one,
Shannon, Sam actually can rap. I have brown paper and
is that right?
I love to ask.
He got a lot of rhythm in his talk. Even when he just talks, look, even when he talks, there's always a rhythm and a melody, even when he talks. So he can't. I'm
a preacher that loves to sing. That high.
There it is. So look, so that being said, you know, just for the music heads, you know, this question is for me and Wendy. This is
okay.
Selfish.
Okay.
But what else do you listen to? Like I know, you know, I've heard that Beyonce listens to Indian music. You know what I love about international music, you know, especially Middle Eastern music, like what we may call sharp or flat, they've named. And so these are, like say between C and C sharp, there may be another note or two between there, you know what I mean, that they've named. And so it's just an inflection. So the musical subtleties, and so that's something she studies. But, you know, I've listened to some traditional music from all over the world and love it. I just wonder if there's anything else that you listen to that stretches your ear.
Cuban music.
The rhythm, right? What is it?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I'm with you on that one.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Have you been to Cuba?
Hey.
Have you been to Cuba?
Huh? Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Not recently.
Not recently, though.
We were supposed to go when the Stones were there, and then they took all the hotel rooms. We were supposed to have been down there, and then he wound up doing a gig with the Miami Symphony here. But
he's in Miami all the time. He's in Miami. He's still getting it. He's in Miami all the time.
Really?
You.
I live here.
Oh, you in Miami now?
Leave me home.
Nobody gave me the memo.
I've been here almost 6 years.
You in Miami? You next door to Julio Iglesias.
How do you know we don't know about you?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Wendy.
Yeah, we did about
Miami.
almost 6 years ago.
So I know you're here too.
That's right. I'm around the corner. I'm there a lot.
I know you are.
Wow.
Get sightings.
So we get sightings of you, my darling.
Oh my gosh.
And by the time George tried to get hold to you one time because I was doing something.
I told Clay.
With Rudy.
Yes.
And Clay was supposed to get in contact with you. And you were out with the man himself.
I was either with Julio, I was probably with Tim and Faith, but it don't matter. I missed the moment. We gonna create a new moment that I can work.
Yeah, no, you were out with Tim and Faith at the time.
Yeah, I did something one time. It was a rainy night in Georgia. Okay, windy, and it hurt. It hurt. I remember so well that Faith came over to my seat and on her hand, and she said, "I want to sing with you." And I looked at her. I said, "Okay, let's do it. Whatever. Find something for us to do. We'll do it. Let's get it together."
It never happened.
It never happened because she saw me the next time and she had like she didn't know me. But that's okay.
I think that's a mistake. I really think because you know what? She really loves artists of color. She loves you. She loves Aretha Franklin. She loves.
I know that. I know.
Yeah, we know Faith from when she was still living across the street from Green's Grocers at Aubrey's house.
See that window?
Hello.
See that window?
Hello. Nobody, just know that no one on this planet could ever forget you. Not even her.
Let's get together.
Let's get together. Let's make it happen.
Let's have Shannon make it. Wendy, make it happen.
Y'all know how to reach us.
You know how to reach
deals
us.
on the Zoom. Hey, we making deals on the Zoom call. I like it.
He gonna put you in the African. Well, he gonna put the bug in the ear about you being in the African American Museum, which I'm sure they may say yes.
Henry, that was very hurtful because Henry knows us and he knows where we are, and never.
I really think I've seen you in that. Now, maybe, yeah, I really do believe you're in that. Like, there's no way this can happen without you.
They're in there. He's in there, but you know what? Y'all relied too much on Dr. Maltsby. I'm going to leave it there.
Well, here's the deal. A conversation can happen, but I know you're there.
Yeah,
but a conversation can definitely happen. So we'll right now we talking about you and your life, but we'll come back to that and make sure that business is squared up. We will most definitely button that bit just like this right here. Look, top button.
Yes. Why don't we do this, Shannon?
Yes, sir.
Let's work wherein we can come to Florida and sit down with.
Or go to Nashville.
Go to Nashville and sit down and let's have a talk.
Okay.
Let's talk about everything. Because you never can tell what comes out of that talk.
When you want to come?
Let's make
well, God, you know what? Let me seriously, because we've got our grandkids here for another couple of months, so I have to make arrangements to figure out.
Don't
we'll
rush.
talk about all that later. So look. Yeah,
but we can Zoom. Shannon, we can always jump on a Zoom in the meantime.
Yeah. Y'all forget we on TV right now, basically, with this Zoom. So look, we're gonna keep it. So look.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to it.
We're gonna keep it right.
No, all of that.
Yeah.
So listen.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? What you working on now?
Yeah.
I'm working on the I just finished that thing with Patinko, Wendy.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
The Mr. Cohen song.
Yes.
I ain't gonna tell you what Joyce calls it, so we're gonna she'll talk to you later.
Recorded that.
Just pull the lyrics and you read them.
Wendy,
you tell me what it says.
Wendy, I sat in there and sang the song. Joyce was looking at the words, right? Wendy?
Right. And
she said it, and Rudy and I said, no, you didn't just say and his wife said, let me read. And she said, oh my God, it is. Wendy, I'm through with it. Shannon.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay. She Wendy gonna talk. And by the way, tell David hello, Wendy.
I will. He's in the studio downstairs while we're having fun up here.
Yeah, give him my very best, please.
I will.
One of the top bass players too.
Right, in the world.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. You know, and that's all that matters. You know, all that other stuff.
You know, I really love him to pieces, and I love to give. But he unfriended me.
He did.
I sweat. He loves you. Come on.
I love him too. It's all in good fun. We'll mud wrestle eventually. It's cool.
The man can play. The man can play, Wendy.
And we all can still break bread together.
You better believe it.
Can't we, darling?
You better believe it.
And you know the thing about it, Shannon, you and I and Wendy are talking, but we're not pulling each other's coat. We're not trying to fool each other.
Not at all.
We're not telling lies to make ourselves look good. Okay. We're gonna be honest, and I go with that. I live with that. Let's go with it. Be honest. Have debates to the point that, like I said, you never know what's going to come out of it. But we're still going to be together. Let's be together.
Let's do it.
I want to do that.
That's it.
I love to do that. Okay?
Yes,
sir.
Love you, baby. Love you, Shannon.
Love you too.
Love you too, Mr. Mark. We do. Thank you. Thank you for all that you've contributed just to this conversation and to the cultural fabric of this world. Just thank you. Just thank you for all of your contributions.
Thank you. Are you still with the choir there?
Oh yeah, I still work with the Jubilee Singers. I do a lot of stuff. I work, you know, I write, produce records, and
okay.
And, I work at BMI, and I do a lot of stuff. Yes, sir.
Because I still out of all of that, I still feel as though that we could do a choir with all the songs and get the best singers that we can to have a good concert.
Mm.
You like that?
Oh, absolutely, like that.
Yeah, we can do that.
As soon as the gospel album is ready.
And you want to do?
Well, when the gospel album's ready.
When the gospel album is ready, Wendy and Shannon, Joyce says she'll get it to you.
We have to do it.
We have to do it now. We've got to do it.
Okay.
We must do it.
Is that something you're working on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost done.
Okay.
I'm trying to find some more songs.
Okay.
Like I said, I want to go back, and I'm still looking. But yeah, I want to try to finish up this, and I want to finish up some other stuff, pop stuff, country stuff. That's what I'm interested in doing.
Nice.
Yeah, and I want to keep. I sure enough want to keep Wendy and everybody there. Where's what you call her? That used to be. She sang on my album. She plays. She used to be with Sting. Yeah, she used to sing. Her little girl came from when she was a little girl from Indiana.
Oh, you mean Crystal?
Crystal.
No, she was with Billy.
Crystal Farrell.
With Billy Joel.
Yeah,
Crystal,
where is she?
She's there. She's recovered from the cancer.
Oh, is she okay?
I'm on Facebook with Crystal all the time.
She's doing much better.
Yeah, thank God.
Still talented. She still can play. She's still a beautiful musician.
Yep.
Everything.
Yep.
Keep her in mind, Wendy. Keep her in mind. Bring along with all of us too. Okay. Let's not forget her. Yeah.
Crystal's there.
Okay. Thank you.
She's recovered.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you.
I've enjoyed Shannon. I've enjoyed Wendy. I can't wait to see your little pretty face, honey.
I love you. I can't wait.
I love you, baby. And I love David.
I think he loves you too. You know it.
Yeah.
And we love Shannon, and we love Nashville Music Equality.
Thank you.
Hey.
Well,
hey,
we love
Shannon.
all you guys too. Believe that. Know and believe that. It's been an amazing night. It's been an amazing conversation. I feel enriched by it, and I'll be on cloud nine the rest of the night. I got a chance to have a chat with the legendary, the one and only, the soul man himself. Woo!
Let's just get together and let's keep it together, baby.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it, really do. Bye, Wendy.
Sir.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you, baby.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. Everybody out there, anybody join this conversation, thank you for coming to this conversation. And just keep coming to Nashville Music Equality for great conversations such as this. And hats off. And we are, again, on cloud nine from this conversation with the legendary Sam Moore. And we'll see you on into the future.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to sign off.
Bye-bye.